tonight.
I, Mark Carney, do swear that I will be faithful and bear...
Mark Carney is sworn in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister. Regina police launch a new neighborhood watch program. And a Regina sewer brings fashion to sports with her custom creations.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, March 14th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Canada has a new Prime Minister. Mark Carney and a somewhat smaller cabinet have been sworn in at Rideau Hall. And as David Thurton reports, Carney is promising action from day one.
Prime Minister Mark Carney arriving at Rideau Hall, ready to usher in a new political era.
That I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Prime Minister.
Just days after becoming Liberal leader, Carney isn't wasting time filling his cabinet with mostly familiar faces. François-Philippe Champagne is Finance Minister. Key ministers in the tariff war, Jonathan Wilkinson and David McGuinty, keep their old jobs along with Mélanie Joly away at G7 meetings, while Dominic LeBlanc now focuses on the relationship with the U.S. and premiers.
We have new ministers with new ideas, ready to respond to new threats and to seize new opportunities.
Carney's team is smaller, 24 ministers instead of 37, fewer women than men. Immediately confronting the new cabinet, a trade war and U.S. annexation threats.
We will never, ever, in any way, shape, or form, be part of the United States. America is not Canada.
After the formalities, it was straight to work.
I have already met with my deputy minister at ISED, and I have instructed him to prepare a letter that will be going to our suppliers to buy Canadian.
It is a privilege to serve in cabinet. Right now, all of us need to be focused on helping our new Prime Minister, Prime Minister Carney, lead our country.
On his first day, the new PM did need help.
Sir.
On the way to his first cabinet meeting.
Okay.
How are you feeling? I have to get one. I'm lost. Just pale too.
What are your first priorities?
First priorities, we're going to deal with the carbon tax.
The Conservative leader cast doubt on that.
This is the carbon tax law. It's in place today. Until Parliament is recalled, this carbon tax law will be the law of the land.
While carbon pricing is still the law of the land, Carney signed an order ending the collection of the consumer levy.
We will be eliminating the Canada fuel charge, the consumer fuel charge, immediately.
It's unlikely that Parliament will be recalled to change the law. Sources say Carney will be triggering an election this month, sending Canadians to the polls either in late April or May. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
The G7 Foreign Affairs meeting has wrapped up in Quebec. Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly defended Canada's sovereignty with a stern message for U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Joly said the issue is not up for debate in her closing remarks to the media. Rubio said Donald Trump's position is that Canada would be economically better off joining America, and that Trump's 51st state comments reflect a disagreement between the president's position and Canada's. Joly said G7 ministers renewed strong support for Ukraine and endorsed a U.S.-backed ceasefire plan for Russia's war in Ukraine, already accepted by Kyiv. The mother who drove the wrong way onto Highway 11 and killed 2 other women in a head-on crash is going to jail. The crash also injured Brittany Berry's 2 sons. Liam O'Connor has the details from court.
33-year-old Brittany Berry was sentenced to 6 years behind bars. She pleaded guilty on 2 counts, driving over the legal limit causing death and driving over the legal limit causing bodily harm.
Ms. Berry was offered a plea to a lesser charge, and when it became public that the victims, the surviving victims, were going to suffer financial consequences from insurance as a result of that, she offered to plead guilty to the more serious charges.
The sentence comes after a fatal car crash that happened back in October of last year.
Miss Berry, with well over the legal limit, over double the legal limit, with her 2 children in her truck, turned onto the highway near Dundurn and drove in the wrong direction. She was driving northbound in the southbound highway and crashed into the vehicle and killed the Hanna family.
Berry also had her 2 children in the vehicle with her, with one needing to be airlifted by Star's ambulance. A packed courtroom filled with the Hanna family gave victim impact statements, some expressing forgiveness and others not.
Laura and Jamie were 2 people full of life, and that potential is gone. It's an unspeakable loss. We are here to be their voices and to support each other.
Family and friends at court remembered Laura and Jamie as being kind and loving. They also wore clothing that said coffee and gratitude to pay tribute to the mom and daughter who posted that inspiring message often on social media. Liam O'Connor, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The family of a man who died after being arrested by Prince Albert police say they're not surprised with the results of an investigation into what happened. In April of 2023, Prince Albert police were trying to arrest Bowden Umferville as he sat in a stolen vehicle. Officers deployed 5 stun guns, a total of 15 times, used batons, knee strikes, and pepper spray before placing Umferville in handcuffs. He stopped breathing on the way to the hospital and later died. An autopsy ruled the death was the result of a cardiac arrest caused by positional asphyxia and cocaine intoxication. The Serious Incident Response Team, or CERT, determined the use of force by police was justified due to Umferville's resistance. Regina police have a new plan for crime prevention in the city. The service is starting a neighborhood watch program in the hopes of giving residents more ways to keep their communities safe. Jeffrey Tram has the details.
We listen to the community, we listen to the residents, we listen to community surveys and what people say.
The Regina Police Service is focusing on strengthening neighborhood safety with a new initiative. It's called Community On, and it's helping bridge the communication gap between police, residents, and businesses. The police chief says it's all about being more transparent.
And often people say that they're not aware exactly what's going on in the neighborhood. Often people say they don't see enough of the police. Often people say there's not a two-way dialogue. And often people feel that they're not as safe as they should be.
Another part of the initiative is a voluntary camera registry where residents can let police know if they have security cameras. If an incident takes place in the area where a registered camera is filming, video can be collected or digitally transferred as part of the investigation. The deputy chief says any video submitted will be handled carefully.
The data itself will be housed through Forest Green, the software provider, so we've got a couple of mechanisms in place for that. It won't be easily accessible and freely accessible to every employee at RPS. It'll be a select few for investigative purposes.
The program will be piloted in Arcola East before expanding citywide.
We cannot expect the law enforcement to be there 24/7. This model provides that engagement opportunity from the citizens, and if an unfortunate situation happens that involves law enforcement, then this will allow them with providing that evidence.
Residents can also display Community On signs to show their support.
If you see something that's not right, if you think somebody's acting suspiciously, you think there's a crime occurring, I want to encourage all the communities, all the residents, that we all collectively, it's our responsibility to keep our community safe.
Anyone interested in signing up for the Safe Neighborhood Camera Registry or is interested in learning more about Community On can visit the Regina Police website. Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
And the city of North Battleford is also launching a new safety initiative in its own downtown core. A new specialized patrol team made up of social agencies, community safety officers, and RCMP members will be patrolling the downtown area. It will help connect individuals struggling with addiction and health issues to the appropriate services.
This isn't a project of just policing, which is one of the only tools a municipality has, but this is a project of connecting people to services that they may be needing in times of crisis or times in their life.
The city is also working on another plan to incorporate health officials and community cultural leaders to work alongside the RCMP. Ottawa has signed off on a $630 million settlement with the Peter Ballantine Cree Nation. It's for agricultural benefits under Treaty 6 that were never fulfilled. A ratification vote took place in January. The band says 2/3 of eligible voters took part. 93% of them voted in favor. The money will be divided between compensation and a settlement trust. Peter Ballantine has a presence in 9 communities across northeastern Saskatchewan and has more than 13,000 members. Well, a slushy, windy Friday in Regina. The Queen City picking up a few centimeters of snow in the last 24 hours or so. Other parts of the province, though, getting much more snow, and it looks like that's a storm system responsible for that, though, will be moving out just in time for the weekend. A lot of us getting some sunshine back as well. But there is some colder weather on the way, too. For some of us, it's already here. I'll have a look at your full forecast when we come back. Stay with us. The provincial budget will be unveiled on Wednesday next week amid uncertainty around tariffs and in the wake of last fall's provincial election. The Morning Edition's political panel has a few hints on what might be included.
So what kind of budget are you expecting, Murray?
A deficit budget. If you read what you're hearing so far, and what we've heard is Premier Moe at the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities Convention talk about some of the things that they're doing. Even before that, they announced, I think, a 6.3% increase in the revenue sharing pool, to quote the record numbers that are record numbers every year. He's talking about making good on election promises. So that's more money for policing, 500 more officers. What they're promising 500 more treatment beds for drug addictions, which is obviously important, given what we're seeing in Saskatoon and elsewhere in terms of the fentanyl crisis and other things. He's talking about more money for schools to learn basic reading, to improve basic reading skills, and obviously there's a teacher's contract to deal with, dealing with having to go out of province for surgeries. We've talked a ton about mammograms and everything else. All these things that they're talking about on budget day that are a good thing, pretty much everything except paying for child care and whatever the provincial government contribution is to $10 a day federal daycare that he has to sign on to before March 31st, or perhaps earlier if we have a federal election. So it sounds like it's business as normal for governments, which means spending a lot and not really paying enough attention to balancing the budgets and the deficit. But as you know, the world is far from normal right now with the tariff issue and the revenue stream that the government can count on to pay for all this. So something's got to give. And guess what's going to be? Well, it's going to be a balanced budget. Or the notion of a balanced budget is going to be the thing that gives. So I think we're going to see a lowball deficit that's come the 19th, come Wednesday. And I think as the year goes by, we'll see that deficit grow, as we always do at mid-year and further.
Well, the snow has come to an end. A little bit of sun maybe peeking out there in Regina as we look out of our tower cam. Certainly has been windy at times as well with that storm system that's been moving through. And it's left quite a bit of snow in its wake as well. We'll take a look now at the snowfall totals that we've seen throughout the province. Of course, northern Saskatchewan seeing higher amounts, near 20 centimeters near Isle Lacrosse as of early Friday morning. Same time period shows that Emma Lake got about 7.5 centimeters, even down south, places like Regina and Strasbourg, even picking up a few centimeters as we've gone into Friday as well. But the bulk of that snowfall has now begun to move out of the province. And any places that are seeing the snow, it's fairly light, especially through south and central. You can't see northern Saskatchewan snowfall there because there's no radar coverage up there, but most of that has moved out as well. But certainly winds have been a concern in some parts of the province with the snow, causing some issues on highways throughout the day, and they've been gusting near 60 in many locations, including Regina and Estevan, as you see there, particularly in southeastern Saskatchewan is where we've seen the strongest gusts. We've also seen a cold front move through with this system, so A lot of us have now actually been dropping through the day temperature-wise. This is the best we did for temperatures in the province. Over the freezing mark in the south, still though well below freezing as you move into parts of central Saskatchewan. So as that low departs, we're actually going to get some clearing through south and central as we get into sort of the overnight hours into Saturday and even through the day Saturday. Kind of a mix of sun and cloud, I think, is what's expected for the south as the north gets that snow out of there. A little bit of snow moving through southwestern Saskatchewan as we move into early Sunday, but it's the next system that we're watching that moves in later Sunday and through the morning on Monday, which will be bringing snow and a mix of snow and rain, especially south of the Trans-Canada corridor. I think that's where we could see some freezing rain. That will stick around for southeastern sections as we get into sort of the noon hour Monday. First little system bringing a couple of centimeters of snow. Now, there are a couple of models that suggest there could be upwards of 10 plus centimeters of snow for parts of southern Saskatchewan, including Regina by Monday. Some other models saying much less. So we have a couple of days to see how this is all going to play out. But nonetheless, keep an eye on Sunday into Monday. Could be a messy commute, especially for Monday morning. Winds are going to start to diminish, though, especially as we get into Saturday. Still a little bit breezy in eastern sections, but high pressure moves in for Sunday, and that'll calm things right down. So for Regina, I've just put a general note that there will be snow. We're not entirely sure how much, but we'll keep an eye out on that system for the next couple of days. Then things rapidly improve. Sunshine and at seasonal conditions for the next few days as we head into the middle of the work week. Same for Saskatoon. I don't think you're going to be impacted, though, by that system Sunday into Monday. Just flurries at the most for you. And some sunshine moving back into Thursday and Friday, and maybe a couple of days down the road where we get back above the freezing mark. Well, if you've been watching the NFL the past couple of seasons, you've probably seen shots of Taylor Swift wearing custom Kansas City Chiefs gear to her boyfriend Travis Kelce's games. Well, those trendy pieces have inspired a Regina woman to take her sewing to the next level with the CFL.
I'd like to take old jerseys or old flags or old garments and bring a new life to them. My name is Hilary De Paz. So I am the owner and the creative behind Me and You Handmaids. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, I want that. Like, I want something like that. And I mean, the crafter in me, as soon as you see anything crafty, you're like, you can do that. And I love being able to like go to games and go to any type of sporting games and like seeing the creativity people put in their costumes. So I was like, well, might as well make it kind of fashionable and like make it cute. The very first vest that I've actually made was for Petra Mace, who is Corey Mace's wife, and Courtney, who is the head coach of the cheer team. I upcycled for both of them rider jerseys. So I decided that I wanted to make one for myself, for my favorite CFL player, Bobby Jerson. And then I started wearing them to rider games, and I'd get people who would notice me at the games or walking to the games or sitting in my section. From there, people were just like, I want one for myself. How do I get my hands on one? And I knew right away from the beginning I wanted to do it right. Being a small business here in the city, and Saskatchewan Roughrider organization is they love working with small businesses. So I thought this was kind of like, this would be a great partnership, and it's a team, my favorite team, and collaborate with something that I really love to do. So I reached out to them. Within that process, I was getting interest from other teams across the CFL. So I was getting interest from Ottawa and Calgary and Edmonton and Winnipeg. And so I was like, okay, I guess this is kind of becoming a big deal. And so then from there, I did up a little report and I showed them pictures of everything that I did, and they were like, this is awesome, like this is amazing. The major thing that's missing in sports is fashion. And I know some people are just gonna eye roll to it and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you wanna open a brand new path for fashion for, I mean, not only women, but also men. And I mean, time and time again, you can only buy so many of the exact same jersey or the exact same sweater. And it gets to the point where you have so many of the same thing, you want to be able to breathe new life into it.
Saskatchewan gonna punch their ticket to Saturday's semifinal.
Well, a big win Thursday for the University of Saskatchewan Huskies women's basketball team against the University of Alberta. They are on their way to the U Sports women's basketball semifinals against UBC in Vancouver this weekend. And if they win, they'll be playing for the top title in Canada. The team is led by Prince Albert's Gage Grassick, who's also been named U Sports Female Basketball Player of the Year. Stay with us. We'll have more news for you after the break. It's going to cost you more to have an electric vehicle in Saskatchewan, and some EV drivers are not happy about it. The government says it is doubling the road use charge on EVs from $150 to $300 per vehicle per year. It says electric vehicles contribute to the wear and tear on highways and should pitch in for upkeep. Drivers of gas vehicles pay for road maintenance through the provincial fuel tax. The Sask EV Association says now is not the time to put up more barriers to EVs.
While I agree that at some point an EV tax is necessary to deal with road maintenance costs, we're not at that point yet. We just don't have enough EVs. We don't have enough EV adoption, especially in Saskatchewan, let alone Canada, to justify this kind of tax. Right now, we're in a period where we're still trying to drive adoption rates. We're still trying to incentivize these vehicles. And for a government to not only implement but increase a tax, that acts as a disincentive.
The Provincial EV Association says Saskatchewan and Alberta are the only provinces in Canada to charge this fee. The charge is collected by SGI as part of yearly registration fees. Some terrifying moments aboard an American Airlines flight that caught fire on the ground at the Denver airport. The plane, carrying 172 passengers and 6 crew, was flying from Colorado Springs to Dallas-Fort Worth yet on Thursday. Engine problems forced an emergency landing in Denver. The engine burst into flames while taxiing to the gate. Everyone got out alive, but some passengers were trapped for a time on the wing as smoke billowed around them. 12 people were taken to hospital with minor injuries. The FAA is investigating the cause. Well, we're looking for some chilly temperatures as we head Friday into Saturday across the province, near minus 20 in parts of central Saskatchewan as the skies begin to clear from our cloudy and snowy day. For northern Saskatchewan, the last of that snow starting to move out now. This is actually an improvement in temperatures, especially for far northern Saskatchewan, who have been down near minus 30 most of the week. Again, some snow possible in eastern sections of the north as we head into Saturday, but it'll mostly just be a mostly cloudy day as temperatures rebound somewhat between minus 10 and minus 15. A chilly but mostly sunny day for a lot of us through south and central. A lot of us struggling to get above the minus 10 mark. And we are, though, looking for winds to come down for many locations, so that won't add too much of a wind chill to those temperatures. And that is it for us. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.